So I'm standing here, 2015 Techo Showcase project. Some of you will recognize the project here, but I want to do a detailed walkthrough as to what's taken place over the past 4 years, pros and cons. Again, this was kind of a unique project because it was labeled as Hybrid Pavement. So again, an open grade system, all clean stone, laid on fabric, and then a number 8 stone screeded, pavers laid, and then swept in, some with polymeric sand and some with a clean stone, number 3/8 ASTM, number 8, number 9 stone. So just a walkthrough, and you can see here, I want to point out one thing that the only failure I really have on this job site is right here to my right. I have a little bit of the Borealis wall that's settling. Originally, this was cut out for a planter bed. This was originally topsoiled when I first built the house, and so we originally were going to make this a planter bed. And then with the design that came through from Techo-Bloc, originally wasn't even going to do the front of the home here. So last minute, we had some spare products and material. We said, you know, let's just do the front. So we ended up doing this area for filming, so it looked kind of symmetrical. And again, this was going to be taken up afterwards. We left it just because we liked it so much, and we said we'll deal with it down the road. But you can see, due to lack of base right here, there's no base underneath here at all. It's on strictly all on just basically topsoil. Walking through to the front, we got some ceramic slabs here. And again, this was swept in with polymeric sand. That is starting to break up a little bit. So some of the joints, we're seeing some of that poly sand roll out, especially when I get up here with my blower and I'm cleaning this out. I notice sometimes it'll loosen up some of that. But otherwise, this is again concrete porch, screed rails, a number 8 stone screeded off to get to our exact height of our capstone here, and then we laid the porcelain tile on there. So I think I said ceramic porcelain tile. I virtually have done no maintenance at all to this system other than just blowing this off. Literally, I have not added any number 8 stone. I haven't added any poly sand. So again, this is all original from when it was done in 2015. You can see my clean stone here, the number 8s, again, performing really well. I do notice sometimes, even like here on the north side, this is north, I get just a little bit of greening in there. So at some point, I'll get in here with a pressure washer and clean this off. But again, this is 4 years now with zero maintenance. Working our way around to the backyard. And again, this probably looks a lot different from when it was first filmed. Everything is really starting to mature nicely. Really starting to fill in, so it looks great. Poly sand holding up well. Maybe just a little punky in some spots, but otherwise performing, like I said, really well on top of the number 8 stone. People ask as far as what took place. You screed the number 8, lay the pavers, install the poly sand. Now when you vibrate that down in, you do lose maybe 10% more sand by the time it chokes out the number 8 stone, that poly sand. But you can see the moisture dissipates, so you don't have this poly sand always saturated and damp where it's going to break down. So I think you really do get a lot more life out of your poly sand laid on top of a number 8 than what you would on top of a C33 sand. So this project here, before we had created our hybrid edging, this would have been a great application for our hybrid edging. We mixed concrete, some of you may remember that, and we put that backer rod in there. So we put the metal rodding in there, crushed it down, and then we concreted that in. I can never grow grass here. It's always dying and it always dries out. So again, it's another huge advantage of our hybrid edging. We could have wrapped this up here, backfilled, and then brought our topsoil right over the top, which would have been really sweet. Looking great. Again, the only thing I've done for maintenance is just remulching. Other than that, it's great. So again, holding up really well here. There's no complaints. I mean, all my edges, I've got no settlement issues on any of these areas. And again, honestly saying, this has never been touched. So I couldn't be more happy. The sitting wall area here with the fire pit, you see everything's still nice and level. And again, this was built all on clean stone. So some of these areas have 2 and 3 feet of stone underneath them. Minimal compaction. So in this area here, again, this is an area that doesn't get a lot of sun. You start seeing a little bit of moisture sits in here. So you can see kind of a little bit of graying, so a little bit of probably molding or whatnot. I did get in here with my pressure washer, did a little cleaning a little while back. You can see we've got one spot here where the poly sand broke down just a little bit. And that could have been where it didn't get in there properly the first time. But that's one area that I've got that I see where the poly sand is breaking down just a little bit. Again, that's 4 years now at this point. But otherwise, if you look at all the edges, virtually no settlement at all. Just perfect, perfect everywhere you look. So one thing we were adamant about with the original design, we wanted a handicap ramp. We do have some members of our family handicap, so we wanted this ramp to get up into our back area. So this really worked out incredible. Couldn't ask for better. So again, virtually no settlement, no issues here, nice and level. So one thing I want to point out in this area here, which really fascinates me, is in this area we were literally 6 feet deep in the ground on this whole area. And again, I have rubber membrane. Some of you remember rubber membrane up against my foundation. I have window wells down in there and also over here. So the rubber membrane goes in, it goes out 10 feet, ICPI spec, 10 feet beyond my foundation, so somewhere out in this area. Then we have a pipe that goes into our basin out in that area. But this area, this whole entire area, is about 6 feet deep with stone. And again, you look along this edge, it's virtually exact from the day we built it. So pretty incredible. And again, that's using your clean number 57 stone. That's all this is. There's no grid actually even enforcing this. That's something that probably wouldn't be a bad idea if you're doing a section like this. You could reinforce it with geogrid, but this has no geogrid. We have a retaining wall here that goes all the way down to the ground, all the way up through. And again, just backfilled with very, very minimal compaction. So maybe 1 or 2 passes just to consolidate the stone in there by virtually have no settling. Coming down onto this flat area again, poly sand holding up fairly well. You can see there's some spots that may be getting just a little bit punky. It definitely is graying out a little bit. The only thing I've ever done really is pressure wash the kitchen area. Because of the pavilion, I get very little water in there just to wash things off, and I do a lot of cooking with the pizza oven and on the grill. So we're out here pretty much all summer long, even early spring and fall. We spend a tremendous amount of time out here. Now with our heaters, the fireplace, the fire pit, it really prolongs our season as far as the enjoyment out here. But the only thing I've ever really cleaned is this area here with a pressure washer, just to kind of clean because it doesn't get any water at all on it. And I will say in this area here, I definitely noticed a little bit of some of your pollen and stuff. This all pitches this way. So as much as it's an open grade system, we do have pitch on here, so everything flows, and it does come into this area, but I do notice it picks up a lot of your pollen and debris from the patio, and it washes it into this area of stone. So this area here is due for cleaning. It definitely, you can see here, it's getting built up with a little bit of pollen and debris. So this is an area that I should maintain at some point in the future of cleaning this out and restoning this with my number 8 or number 9 stone. But otherwise into the kitchen area, again, beautiful, couldn't be happier. The Somerset appliances, the Forno, Toscano pizza oven, or oven like it's labeled now, refrigerator, the Primo grill, everything performing as we want it to. It's just been a really great outdoor living space that we've really enjoyed and appreciated. So a final shout out to Techo-Bloc. Thank you for a beautiful backyard. And again, this was only made possible really through tools, the Pave tool line and systems. We produced this project 2 weeks and 4 days with a small amount of people, 168 pallets of product in this backyard. pretty incredible for a small amount of time.